weekend edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul, where we do a meditation that kind of summarizes and integrates the energies that have been gleaned through the week on Shortcuts for Your Soul on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Oh my goodness. Today is February the 6th, 2022. And we've got a lot of really high vibe energies coming into the planet this week. There's going to be some amazing energy coming into the planet. So meditation is going to be very important in this coming week. Please try to meditate at least for 20 minutes a day. My guardian angel John talks about this concept of being an unknowing person. That is, to be a person that is not caught up in what you know about life, what you believe about life, what you've been taught about life, to move into a state of what he calls unknowing. And this place of unknowing means you have to be willing to let go of what you know. And the meditation day is going to be giving you the opportunity to do just that, to literally let go of what you know as best as you can. I'm just going to wait a couple minutes, give people a chance to come on. It is an amazing time. All around the world today, humans are standing up and saying they will not tolerate political interference in their personal lives anymore. Politicians have overstepped the expressions of love that a politician should articulate as a leader. Leaders should be driven by love, not by fear. Any leader that is driven by fear is not a leader. They will not lead properly. Leadership is a fundamental function of love. Leadership is not a fundamental function of fear. Fear is of the ego. Love is of the soul. And what we need on this planet now are more politicians that are soul-based, not fear-based. And there's a few of them on the planet, but we're hoping they'll start showing up after these demonstrations this weekend around the planet. So my guardian angel John really stresses this importance of unknowing things, at least in your meditations, where you become completely detached from what you think you know, what you believe, any yeses, no, anything, to become completely detached from everything that you know, just to be for 20 minutes. He says it's a very simple process. You just have to watch as opposed to engage. Simply observe thought. Do not try to figure it out or question it, just to simply engage it. Don't get lost in it, just observe. And as you allow yourself to move into that position of observing your thoughts, give also yourself the permission to engage the silence, to engage quietness, to engage stillness. And you can do this by paying close attention to the things that happen between things, the space between things, the space between thoughts. In that space between all things, in that space between your thoughts, there is that place of unknowing. But that does not mean that you do not know. It simply means that you have a state of being that is not constructed or restricted or limited to what you know. As you gain experience moving your awareness from focusing on thought and focusing on what you remember and focusing on what you're considering, as you give yourself, your awareness, the space to be in this unknowing space, in this silence, there is a vibration that you will understand as peace, that you as awareness will begin to feel peace. And simultaneously, as you give more attention to that space between thoughts, to that place of not knowing, your body and your mind likewise will come to a place of peace, because there's nothing distracting them, either internally or externally. Yes, your body may hear sounds in the world around you, but choose to not pay attention to those sounds, to simply keep your awareness in the space between thoughts, the space between analysis, in the place of unknowing. The place of unknowing is not a place of not knowing. Please understand there's a distinction between unknowing and not knowing. In the state of unknowing, you willingly and deliberately Distinguish yourself as consciousness, as something that is independent and functions independent from body, thought, emotion, and future. That you function independently of those. In that place of unknowing, you are still aware that you are aware. In fact, in that place of unknowing, you can even consider, once you have learned to be in that place of unknowing, you can consider what is it you really want to know. But before you get to that place, it's important you at least get to a state of unknowing. Now, you will find there will be several things that occur in this place of unknowing as you move towards it. And I encourage you, as I speak, to consider breathing slowly and deeply and to give your body permission to relax, to very compassionately and kindly and gently give your body permission to relax. And you can use your breath to do this. You do and have heard, realize that quite often if you breathe the body intentionally and slowly, you are asserting authority over your body. You are asserting authority over your body. Isn't that a beautiful thing? That you have authority over this instrument that you have while you're in this physical dimension. And so in slowly breathing, you assert your loving and gentle authority over the body to give the body permission to relax, to become still, to become peaceful. You give the body permission. As you continue to do that, we will have your awareness move to that place in the space in your mind where the world of thought, the world of memory, the world of future considerations exists. The world that you know, the one that you wish to unknow for a little while, the place where your individualized identity is registered, where you find yourself lost in who you think you are and the memories of who you think you are and the future possibilities of those memories. And in this place of mind where you now have your body relaxed and you have an awareness of the thoughts and the memories and the considerations and the wonderings that are going on there, you simply breathe and you give those things permission to be still. You literally draw your breath in, and as you exhale, you give the thoughts, you give the memories, you give the distractions permission to be still. You use your breath to release your attachment to thought, to simply breathe and release thought, to just watch the thought diminish as your body relaxes, as your mind quiets through your breathing, as you give permission to your thoughts, give permission to your memories, give permission to your fantasies, whatever is in your mind. You give permission to all of those to be still, to be quiet, to be calm, to be peaceful. As you continue to give them permission, even if they are very stressful thoughts, or very scary thoughts, or very sad thoughts, or very angry thoughts, the very nature of giving them permission to be still, to be quiet, to be peaceful. Your activity of giving them permission gives them permission. You will feel through the combination of having your body breathing slowly and deeply and exhaling that you will feel the mind will begin to calm as the body calms, because you are now asserting authority over this. As your body and mind begin to calm, you move towards the realm of unknowing. And the place of unknowing does not mean you are not aware. In fact, you become infinitely more aware of sounds. You become more aware of distractions and disturbances as you allow your mind and body to become quieter, calmer, and more peaceful. Then certain sounds will become, you're aware of them. Certain memories will try to assert themselves. And just simply use your breath to slowly, intentionally give your mind and body permission to be still, to be quiet, to be peaceful. As you give it permission to do this, you are asserting your authority, your loving authority over it. It's not to force it. It's not to be angry with it, not to be frustrated with it, but to simply give it permission. Give those thoughts permission to be still. And that is the arc of the process where you breathe slowly, you breathe deeply, you give the body permission to relax, to be still, to become quiet, to become peaceful. You give permission to the thoughts to become quiet, to become still, to become peaceful. You use your breath as the mechanism of permission. You use your breath as the mechanism of permission, where you now give the body permission to relax. Your breath is a mechanism of permission. And with each breath that you take, allow the body to relax more fully, more completely, more deliberately. Each breath, you're giving your body permission to relax more fully, more completely. You can even give individual muscles permission to relax more, using your breath as the instrument of suggestion, giving your body permission with the breath to be still, to be quiet, to be peaceful. And repeatedly using your breath to give your body permission, to give muscles permission, to give organs permission, to give glands and nerves permission to relax. Your breath is your mechanism of permission for your body to be still. As your body gets quieter and calmer and more peaceful, you can turn your attention to the place of thought, of memory, of emotion, of future consideration. And you use the same process, utilizing your breath as a mechanism of permission, a device that you give your mind, your thoughts, your memories, your emotion, as you breathe now. And you give permission to the thoughts, to memories, to emotions, to future considerations. You give permission as you exhale for them to be still. And each breath now gives your mind permission to be quieter, calmer, and more peaceful. If the mind seems to resist, just gently breathe deeply and exhale the resistance. Use your breath as a mechanism to give the resistance permission to release. So as you experience how you use the breath and how it causes, through your deliberate act of breathing, with the intention that you're giving your mind and body permission to be still, to be quiet, to be peaceful, to be open and receptive. Become aware of how the body has become still as you've done this. Become aware of how the mind has changed to whatever degree it has for you through the act of using your breath as a mechanism of permission for your mind and body to be still, to be quiet, to be peaceful. As the mind and body become more peaceful, more quiet through the mechanism of permission through breathing, as they become more still and open and receptive, you move now towards the realm of unknowing. And this realm of unknowing does not mean that you have no awareness, for you have awareness even now of the words that we speak. You have awareness of the fact that there is a body. You have awareness that there is an environment around your body, but you're not in a state of analysis. You're not in a state of trying to know. You're simply awareness, aware. And yes, your mind can identify the sound of that bird, and it can identify the sound of the truck or the car, or the sound of the feet on the floor upstairs. Yes, your mind can be aware of those things, but you are undistracted by it. You're simply aware. Continue to use the breath as an instrument of permission to allow your body to go deeper into this state of relaxation, of calm, of peace, of open receptivity. And then do the same thing with this mechanism of your mind. Use the permission of your breath to allow your mind to go deeper and quieter into silence, giving your mind permission with your breath to not think for a little while, to be still, to be quiet, to be open and receptive to your awareness. As the mind and body begin to respond to you, it gives you the awareness that you have a very different role over your mind and body now than before. Once you come to the understanding that you can begin to alter and change through your application of the breath as a mechanism for permission, that you can alter and change the way thought and body are functioning for you, you now have a simple process for liberating yourself from the distractions of the mind and the world, and you can begin to turn your awareness inward to that place of unknowing. And please understand that there is a distinction between unknowing and not being aware. In the state of unknowing, you are a much more expanded awareness. In the state of knowing, you're in mind analyzing, weighing, and measuring. That mechanism of mind will still be there, but for now, the purpose of this is to simply give you an understanding of this simple but powerful capability that you have to utilize your breath as a mechanism of permission to get your body and your mind still, quiet, peaceful, open, and receptive, so that they are still. In this process, you become aware that you have an authority over your body and mind that is a different authority than the one you know from this world. The authority that you are is different than the authority you have learned from this world. And so in this place of awareness, where your body and your mind are still, and just to be awareness in the stillness. If your mind and body seek to become active or capture your attention back to them, simply use your breath as a mechanism of permission to restore them to a place of silence, stillness, calm, and open receptivity to your awareness. It is the hope that you will take this simple process and apply it for at least 20 minutes each day to give your awareness, give yourself the understanding that mind and body are instruments that you use in the process of existing in this physical dimension. That the act of breathing, deliberate breathing, is a function that you may assume authority over to establish a permission for both mind and body to be in a state of consciousness, a state of being that is more suitable for your creative process here. In getting into this space of stillness, this place of unknowing, where you are not weighing or measuring or judging or analyzing or remembering, where you are simply being still, there is a liberation that begins to happen for your body, and a liberation that begins to happen for you as the awareness inhabiting that body. You begin to realize that you are, in fact, a separate and distinct element of the personality that is able to observe thought, observe memory, observe body, and not be lost in either of them, In this position of the benign observer, you are able to assert a different authority over mind and body. In this place of unknowingness, you move to the realm of creation, where you can begin to deliberately and intentionally bring into your awareness ideas and experiences that you wish to manifest as a condition of your creative nature. But first, for 20 minutes a day, if you can get your body and mind into this state, using the mechanism of breath as a device of permission to give your body and mind a state of being that is still quiet, calm, and peaceful, you restore yourself to the rightful position in consciousness that you were designed to have over your mind and body. Your mind and body are the instruments that you can utilize, not be subjective to utilize them in your process of deliberate creation here. The understanding that your breath is a mechanism of permission that you can apply to your body, that your breath is a mechanism of permission that you can apply to your mind to direct it to be still, to direct it to be quiet, calm, and peaceful. In that mechanism of breath, you instruct the mind and body. You now become the instructor of your mind and body, and not simply the servant of your mind and body. For those of you that have ears to hear, let them hear. For those of you that has an eye to see, let them see. This beautiful instrument that you have been gifted with in this world is an instrument of creation. It's not a place for you to be bound and restricted to, but a place of potentially limitless creation. So this place of unknowing is where your mind and body are still and quiet. And remember, you can utilize the breath very deliberately and intentionally as a device of permission to give your mind and body to be quieter, calmer, and more peaceful. In the act of regulating your breathing, you can intensify and increase the profoundness of the experience of quieting your mind and body. There is a profound state of being that you can access through the act of deliberate and intentional breathing. And if you pay attention that when you breathe slowly and deeply, and you direct the body to breathe slowly and deeply, you are changing, asserting an authority over it. When you use the mechanism of breath to direct your minds, your emotions, your thoughts to be still, to be quiet, that regular, slow, deliberate breathing quiets and stills the mind. In that deliberate act, you assert an authority also over mind, over thought, over memory, over emotion. And much to your surprise, you might find that when your mind and your body are still and quiet, that you are still very much aware. Still very much aware, if not even more so. But the process needs to be applied for the full measure and weight of its effect in your life can be observed. But you can readily understand through the act of deliberate breathing as a mechanism of permission for your body, that you can train your body to be your servant. You can train the mind into a place of stillness. But that will also require that you be willing to maintain that. For your mind and your body learn by what you do most frequently with them. That's how they learn, by what you do most frequently with them. So questions. Let us look at some questions here. Question from Adam. On what are, he wants to ask Archangel Metatron. Metatron, on what are all the factors that constitute how energetically sensitive an individual is, and why do some people have extremely high levels of this? He's talking, Adam's question is really interesting question. John is simply saying you must understand, the higher the level of sensitivity, the more evolved the soul is in its experience of creation. If you understand the true nature of this, that the level of sensitivity that you have is higher because you are a more evolved soul. In other words, you have learned to differentiate your soul from the conditions of matter and mind so much more that you are more aware of conditions of mind and matter, not only in your own mind and body, but also in the minds and bodies of others. You become very sensitive to that. But this process of unknowing affords you the opportunity to liberate yourself from being subjective to that heightened sensitivity. In the place of unknowing consciousness, you can simply remain as an observer of, I'm aware that that emotion of anger is present. I'm aware that that emotion of anxiety is present, but I'm simply aware of it. And in that place of awareness, you can simply use the mechanism of breathing to release those energies from the body, the release of those energies from the body, deliberately using the mechanism of your breathing as the device. Always, the breath must be intentional and clear and full and deep to instill the suggestion into your body that you wish it to embody. So you breathe slowly and deeply, and you release that energy from the body, from the perception. And then you do the same thing for the mind, for those emotions that one may be more sensitive to. Those emotions that one may be more sensitive to will also stimulate certain thoughts in the mind that are connected to those sensitivities. And so being able to become aware of this mechanism of breath, so that when you suddenly become aware, there's this anxiety, there's this anger I perceive, and now there's these thoughts. The mechanism of the breath, simply, deeply, as a mechanism to give permission to mind and body to release those thoughts, to release those perception of emotions, to release them from the body, to release them from thought. And this deliberate action, again, it must be conscious, it must be deliberate. There is a spontaneous process that animals have that is similar to this, but they are not conscious of it. Whereas you will see an animal that will sigh, and that is their way of releasing tensions unconsciously. What we are speaking of is how you release these sensitivities deliberately and intentionally from your body, and the thoughts that correspond to those emotional sensitivities from the mind. The mechanism of the breath as an instrument of permission is the simplest and most effective and deliberate way to do this. Again, your mind and body can be like a wild stallion if it is very unruly and untrained. If you have a lot of sensitivity built up in it, if you've got a lot of memory of suffering, if you've got a lot of information going into your mind that's of a negative nature, then the level of breathing and the length and duration of it may change. So you may need to breathe slower and deeper, a little longer, to get that body that you're in, or the thoughts in your mind, to a lower level of sensitivity. But simultaneously, you will also lower your sensitivity to the emotions and energies that you pick up from other people. So you will cease to be picking them up from other people when you're not sensitive to them. You're not affected by them. When you're not affected by them, you can function very differently. Wow, great question, Adam. Question from Sunny. Would like some guidance on how to help my son with separation anxiety when he started school. He was all excited, but after a few days, he became very anxious. Thank you. Oh, great and beautiful question. We're sending much love to this dear one right now. Again, this mechanism of breathing is very important. There is no child that cannot learn this. If you sit with your beautiful child and you have them become aware of their anxiousness, and you say, watch this, I will show you how to use your body to release this. And you have them breathe slowly and deeply, and instruct them that as they breathe, they release and let go of that emotion. Children understand this far better than most do. The feeling of letting go is very simple to them. But in this case, he's being exposed to environmental conditions that are causing him uncertainty. And if you can simply teach him this process of breathing, yes, and have him become aware that in the process of breathing, he gives permission for his anxiousness to leave. He gives permission for the body to be still. He gives permission for the thoughts that give rise to anxiousness. The memories, in his case, it is not so much thought as it is memory of what he has experienced. But he can be taught simply through the mechanism of breathing to release memory, to release thought into the past where they belong. This will give him a leverage of awareness that very few are taught as young children. Very few parents understand this process of teaching their children how to let go of thought, how to let go of emotion from the body. But it's a process that children can learn and delight in very well. For when a child learns, they do not have to hold on to anything they do not want. They are quite happy to do so, as are most adults when they begin to experience this shift in consciousness from the thinking mind and the distracted mind and the busy body to a place where they're now the body and mind are still and quiet, through the simple act of using the breath as a mechanism of permission. And then you begin to discover that you are not your thoughts, you are not that body, you are aware of them. Now you begin to awaken. Your soul becomes more awake in the silence of the mind, in this place of unknowing. Memory is still there. The past is still there. The body is still there, but you are not immersed in them. This process allows you to come up for air. It allows you to breathe as a soul, to be aware that, wait a minute, I am not these thoughts. I'm not these memories. I'm not these emotions. And I can alter and change them very simply. Wonderful. Thank you, Sonny. Great question. Question from Danielle. May I know what my guardian angel wants to tell me? Daniela. I'm getting shown this giant glass of orange juice. It's a huge glass. It's like, it stands like almost it's like a quart or a liter, depending on where you are. But it's literally, this is delicious chilled orange juice. This is fresh chilled orange juice. This is not processed. This is fresh. So yeah, yes. So if you have access to oranges, juice up some fresh oranges. Throw a bit of ice in with them, but it's literally like the glass is like this tall. That they're showing me, it's this tall, and I'm gonna have some orange juice after I'm done. Thank you. Question from SJK. I recently became really excited about working with rescue homes. Is this a good path for me? I don't know which direction to go as I am trying to move forward from a negative relationship. And one of the words John gave me to use many years ago, he said, you use the word and. Get rid of the word or. So you can do this, and you can do this, and you can do this, and you can do this. But this breathing process will also help you come to when you're not stuck in the confines of your thought and the anxiousness of the body, the emotions of the body, you can make different decisions. Like really use this process that John's given us today of utilizing your breath as a mechanism of permission to release thought and emotion from your body and mind so that you can move into this unknowing state. I like this. I mean, I don't know if you guys are experiencing, like I've been experiencing it as you've been doing it through me. This place of unknowing is a place of freedom, it doesn't mean that you forget or you don't remember. It's you wake up to no longer being bound by what the body is in, no longer bound by what the thoughts are in the mind or the memories are in the mind or the fears of your future. When you are in a place of the unknowing and you feel what that does for your body and mind, you feel the peace, the stillness, the calm, the quietness that comes to your mind and body, then a different type of thinking, a different type of creating begins to become available to you. And the goal of today was to simply get you to that place on unknowing. And we hope that you've gone through the process with us today, that you've allowed yourself to apply this mechanism of your breath. Because remember, your body will not naturally breathe as we've suggested it. Breathe slowly and deeply. That has to be directed by you as a soul. You have to direct your body to breathe that way. You have to direct your body to breathe that way. You have to direct your thoughts to be still and quiet. And there's a beautiful thing that happens when you begin to realize that you have an authority over your mind and body that has always been there, but which may have been minimalized by your attachment to your conditions in this world. The things that you stimulate your mind and body with can either liberate you or imprison you. And from this place of unknowing, you can become very sensitive to what is in alignment with you. In the coming weeks, there's going to be some really amazing events happening in this program about, releasing lower vibrational energies, dark entities. We're going to be getting into a lot of stuff in the coming weeks because there are a lot of lower vibrational beings on this planet right now that you can't see. They're non-physical beings, but they live off the energy of fear, anger, guilt, and shame. And we're going to be addressing some of these concerns and considerations about attachments and becoming free of them in the coming weeks. So I hope you'll be joining us. A couple of announcements to make. The Mediumship 104 orientation for our classes begin in about 30 minutes. And for those of you that are registered, I'm looking so forward to working with you guys in this program over the next 3 weeks. For those of you who haven't registered, you can still register for the 104 Transcendence Masterclass on my website, williammichaelforbes.com. You can register as late as Sunday evening. This is an online course that's done live sessions. It's a completely live course done on Zoom. It consists of 9 2 to 3 hour meditation and discussion sessions, plus there is a whole food component called Sun Food Living Accelerate 01, where you will be given a specific meal plan that will allow you to raise the vibration of your body up to a high state, as well as other events that we have planned throughout the 3 weeks. There'll be something happening almost every day of the week for the next 3 weeks. So if you want to go register for that course, please go register now if you're a previous student. Also, this coming week is going to be very interesting. On Monday, February the 8th, my guardian angel John is going to be back with us, and he can talk about becoming unknown is being free. The concept of this process of becoming, moving into the state of unknowing, and then what it means to become unknown. And he says it's the process of being free. So being in a state of unknowing is leading you to a state of freedom. And a lot of people don't understand what freedom is. There is the freedom we want to have the right to move in this world and be and do in this world as we wish. But there's a different kind of freedom for your soul that allows you to become conscious of your relationship to that which made you, and also gives you access to information and knowledge that you can utilize in the process of constructing, creating, and building your life here. On Wednesday, February the 10th, I have Archangel Michael coming in. What are you afraid of? And that's going to be with Archangel Michael. What are you afraid of? And he's not giving much detail about that now, other than to say, examining what you are afraid of is not the same as liberating yourself from your fear. That's fundamental. Yes. Examining what you're afraid of, and then liberating yourself from your fear. Then on this coming Friday on Shortcuts, we have Fear Not, for the kingdom of God is within you. And that's with Archangel Matthew. And I've never worked with Archangel Matthew before, but he came in really strongly saying people need to understand that the power that they seek is not to be acquired from the wealth of this world, for the wealth of this world is given unto it by that which creates it. And again, I don't know what he means by that, but I'm really excited about that one. And his energy is very, very high. I get that he vibrationally, he feels like he's between what we would call the divine and Archangel Raphael. He's like up slightly above that level of vibration. So I look forward to seeing you guys this week. And again, have yourselves a wonderful and joyful day. We'll be heading to Ottawa, and I'll be doing a live event through Ottawa on my Facebook page. So I hope you'll join me there. And I want to wish you all much love, and have yourselves a wonderful and a joyful day. Bye for now.